So these generators are really simple. You know, the loft nerves, the loft generator is based on a really simple conception. You need to have a few profiles. So let's say a profile look like this, and let's adjust it like this, and I copy it. Like this. And now I introduce a loft generator and put the first and the second profile into the loft. It is really important to go by the numbering. So the first comes first, the second comes second, and so on. So in numerical order. And now you can see it's a little bit messy. It is because it doesn't have enough resolution, polygonal resolution. So I just increase the subdivision to make the loft generator to enable to enable to solve the curvature problems, to make it able to solve the curvature problems. Sorry, I just saw a little bit of error here, and I was wondering, and that's why I was so slow. And now let's grab this one, the first flower. So this is the middle flower, middle, and let's grab the first one and put it here under them, and flower third one, and let's grab these and move it here like this and adjust it now. I just rotate it by 90 degrees like this. All I have to do is just manipulating the loft composition until I find it good enough. I scale the middle flower section to make it a little bit thicker, and I'm start moving, up and down. I really like this this form we got by this loft surface here. But you can see that we have a very few segmentation here, so we need to adjust the V segmentation as well. And as I'm increasing it, we can observe that the edges will be much smoother of our surface, of a newly created surface. And now basically that's it. This is what I wanted. I don't like the uneven distribution of the edges. That's why I usually turn off the subdivision per segments. I don't need it. I like the even segmentation, and I usually turn off the organic form, but it's irrelevant here. Okay, so after this we need to turn off the caps, start cap and end cap. Oh no, sorry, let's keep this one. And now I have to give it a little bit of a thickness, you know, to make it a solid object, because otherwise I couldn't print it in 3D. If I just wanted to make a product prototype or a product negative, you know, I need the a minimal I need a minimal thickness. So, but I don't want to use the default extrude tool, because I have to make it editable for that. So that's why I will use a generator from our plugins. If you go here, but I think we already took a look at this. You know, learning materials, Cinema 4D 2019. No, sorry. The applications and programs, and we have the Cinema 4D R21 plugins and scripts. After we install the plugins, this is what we go for. The
Sorry, Levent, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What if you didn't have the plugins? Because I'm using a different version of the Cinema 4D. How will you do it in just the software?
What version do you use?
I use the latest, the one that it's downloadable on the website.
R21?
No, it's
R23.
I think so, yes.
Oh, yeah, then you have to go to their website, you know, the PI parametric generators. You have to go to the Maxon Labs website. Maxon Labs, and there you can download this is what we go for, the Solidify effector. That's what we want, and the PI parametric tool set. This is what we want. The Solidify tool is, but I don't know if it's ready to use in R23. Requirements are 19. And you need to, you know, like every plugin you download with Cinema 4D, you need to put it here to the plugins folder. There are 2 plugins folder, one in the updata, Maxon, Cinema 4D R21 in our case, and there is the Solidify tool. Oh, I don't have it. Okay. And there's the other one. The other is the C program files Maxon Cinema for the R21 plugins. And there is the other. You know, I'm a little bit messy because I just have many plugins. I downloaded. Most of them I don't need, or I never use them. Of course, I just download because I find them exciting. But if you download something, I suggest you to use the C program files Maxon Cinema 4D plugins. But in our case, because of the Cinema 4D bridge. This is a bridge plugin which helps make work the older plugins in Cinema 4D R21. Not every plugin, but some of them. And this is the Forester plugin. And I don't have the newest Forester plugin. I will show you that. So please, if you install my plugins, then these are the installation instructions. Please follow my installation instructions. So this is the plugin installations. You go here, update the Maxon Cinema 4D R21, unzip the plugins folder, which you can download from here, and you just unzip this folder and put all of them here. So the roaming Maxon Cinema 4D, and after this you restart Cinema 4D and you will have the plugins here in the extensions menu, and after that you can create your own layout with your new plugins. And optionally you can install the scripts as well, and the scripts are located here, Maxon Cinema, up in the tree folder, and you go to the library and you go to navigate yourself to the scripts folder, and you unzip the whole content of this scripts folder to this folder, and after this you have the scripts available.
What are scripts for? Sorry to ask you.
Excuse me?
What are scripts for? What do you need them for?
There are many. We usually use the selection superlatives tool from CodeVonk. That's the most important plugin. The second most important plugin is the PI parametric tools and the Magic Center tool and the Drop to Floor plugin, of course, and the Magic Solo. These are the plugins I always use. So basically these are the plugins we need because it's a workflow. It makes our workflow faster. So now, but of course in time I will introduce to you every plugin we need, so don't worry about that. And by the way, thank you for the question, because it was a really important question. So I go back to the Maxon Labs website, the PI parametric tools stuff, and I check it is compatible with the R23. Let's see if it...
Well, it's okay. I was just wondering if you could achieve the same results without the plugin. That's like the...
Yeah, of course you can, but you have to use a other method, the cloth surface method, and you have to give thickness like this. But there will be a problem, I guess. It will distort here. You see? There will be a distortion you need to fix. So you can give thickness to the object with the cloth surface, but you have to face with this kind of distortions, because it's not it's an angon, and yeah, it's really hard to deal with this problem, because you know it's the easiest to make thickness to shell objects. That's the easiest. But if you have a cap here, it makes a little bit, it makes it a little bit harder. I turn off the caps under the start cap, and I put it to the cloth surface. And after I put it to the cloth surface, you can see the problem is gone. There is no distortion anymore.
What if you just copy the surface twice and just put it underneath? Would that work?
Yeah, that worked, but it's not parametric. You can't change the thickness. By the way, if you want to do it, you know, mostly these plugins are not inevitable. You can use them. You can live without them. They are just, they are mostly just speed up the work. So first, I press the control. I make a copy of the loft surface. I turn it off. I make it invisible both in the viewport and both in the render, and I press C button to make it editable. And I just select all polygon, press the D command, the extrude command, and I turn off the create caps option, and I make thickness by hand. But as you can see, it's not completely flat. So I need to select this loop, and with the scale tool I need to make the surface normal is completely vertical, and I do the same here at the bottom. Yep. And now I'm facing the problem that I have to create a cap here, but how can I do that? Well, there are several ways. For example, I think the easiest method is to split this loop, split it, and there is a command of close polygon hole. This is it. It's an N-gon, of course. And after this, you can extrude it. Let's say yeah, you can extrude it downwards as well. But you have to take care about the curvature of the object. So I have to use the normal scale tool to make it in the direction.
Levent, can I ask you a question? Could you like make maybe some space in your lessons to maybe explain a little bit more further what the tools in the different editable modes of the polygons you have in, like the ones that you have in the nodes, the ones that you have in the line borders, and the ones that you have on the surfaces?
I don't. Sorry, I don't really understand what are you referring to.
Because whenever you press the point edit mode, yeah, on the left, and you press the right click, there are like different types of editable features that you can use on the knots. But I was just wondering if you could like make a little bit like detailed explanation of the things that you're using, because so sometimes when you talk you just press click on the tool, but you just got lost on the middle of the things that you're like elaborating. So maybe if you could like explain a little bit more for example the scale, this is new scaling mode, so that it's a
The
little bit more.
normal scaling mode.
Yes, because you have like the scaling mode on the left, which I think is
Yeah,
number.
yeah, of course. The normal scaling means I think here it's. By the way, it's better to scale with the. Actually, it's better to scale with the scale tool because it looks better this way. But you know the normal scale tool is, for example, to manage the like for example, I would like to adjust um, the shell of something. Like for example, I have a let's say I have a sphere like this, and I extrude these. But after this, I want to move it in the normal axis, you know, the average normal. I can't do it because I don't have axis on that. So I just press the normal move, and after it I can. Oh, sorry, I pressed the D with the create caps. So after this, with the normal move tool, I can set it back like this.
Okay, so the normal tool is to extrude shapes perpendicular to the plane of existence.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a more advanced tool because let's say, for example, you have a polygon here and a polygon here and a polygon here. Okay? And now I press the Extrude Inner tool. And I want to extrude it by 1 centimeter. Okay. I don't have problem here. I don't have problem here, but I do have problem here because there is no 1 centimeter distance here. So I, after start to after I activate the Extrude Inner tool, I need to use the normal scale tool, because elsewhere I can't make it work. You see? And so that's how it works. And let's see if I have these, and you don't have to move them one by one with hand. You can just select it like this, and you can rotate them one by one. You can scale them one by one, and you can rotate them. You see? That's what we use it for. It's a very...
Do you have that? I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Do you have that same option with the node, with the nodes, with the point tool? Like, can you rotate all the points at the same time, or is it just for the plane?
You can't rotate points. It has no rotation. Points has no rotation.
Okay.
Because, you know, the points has only coordinates. It's not a polygon. You can rotate and scale polygons, or you can scale edge in 1 dimension. You can edge this scale in 2 dimension. Only here. But you can't use normal move. You don't have normal options, because splines don't have normals. Splines only have perpendicular lines, like this, like a tangent or something like that. But how do you move it by the average tangent? It's hard. That's why I usually do. I rather make a bevel like this with 0 subdivision, and I just normal move this whole thing like this. And after it, I make a 50% copy, you know, a ring connect points, you know, a ring selection and connect points per edges, and after that I dissolve these edges. So this is the trick. This is my workflow to make edges slide into the tangent position. But basically, that's all you can make with these tools. So you can rotate them one by one. So I don't know. For example, here is the
How would you convert a spline made with a pen tool into a plane, for example? Because I've been trying to do that on my model, but I just seem to have too many issues with that. I can't really, like, if I close a spline I'm not really able to make it like a plane that I can work with. Can you please show us how to do that? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So so if you draw a spline with this spline pen, let's say a linear spline or a B spline, your question is how to convert it to a polygon, right?
Yes.
If I understand it correctly. It's easy because you just have to drop it into a extrude surface with 0, 0 movement, 0, 0, 0 movement. And after this, you only have to press C and you got an N-gon. And this is, I don't know what they want to use it, but this is an N-gon, of course. You can model with it. It is just a plane. You can do an extrude inner tool, maybe. And you can observe that here we have a adaptive subdivision. As you can see, adaptive subdivision means that it introduces a much dense spline subdivision on the curvatures to make them smooth, and less subdivision on let's say the straight segments of the whole object. To dodge this, we need to set the spline to uniform, and you can see it start to simplify the whole spline. And after I press C on it, now we get a spline. We can create a polygon mesh, a proper polygon mesh from it, a quad mesh. It's not always even. So I have to delete this point, or I have to introduce another point. Let's say here. I want to add a point here. So with the create point option, I just click here and here, and with the connect points per edges command but let's say I just delete it. So this is a quad mesh. I got it. The other way to convert a spline into polygon is you know, this is my first method. The second is if it's really complicated to do it, or I don't know, mesh smoothing. What's for spline smoothing? So this is not easy to convert to a quad mesh. I don't know what purpose. What purpose by you asked me to want it to convert to a polygon. You want to convert it to a shell, because if you extrude it with caps off, you can get it as a shell. And if you set the spline mode to uniform, then you can have a uniformly subdivided. Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, sure. If you can see, if you can see the red dot here, we are recording. I always record you everything, because I know some of you have still issues with some things, so we need to. Another way I would like you, I want to make sure that you can learn everything. It's really important. So this is the uniform mesh. So that's extruded upwards, and I get a mesh of it, and I can put it into a subdivision surface to make it smooth. And this is it. There is my spline.
Okay, thank you very much, Levent. That was very helpful.
Yeah, great. So let's go back to our main object, and basically it's ready. I just wanted to introduce you the script that makes the Solidify script. I delete this addition from here, and I delete this one. And after this, I want to introduce you the Extrude Generator, or normal scale modifier, or normal scale generator. The difference is only the hierarchy where you put it. So, for example, the PI Extrude Generator is basically you child the loft object into the Extrude Generator, and if you set the create caps on, this is an extrusion. It generates an extrusion for you. You can make the offset, and this is a parametric extrusion. That's why I like it. I don't need it really much, but it's a great tool to use. But there is the Solidify plugin, and if I download it, Solidify 1.04. So this is the plugin. So I go back. Yes, there is the R23 xlib. So if you have R23, you will able to use these. I guess they made work all of their plugins to make in R23. So this is the point. It's a much clever extrusion. It gives us a much clever extrusion. So if I just copy it to the R21 folder, and I copy it into my R23 folder as well, because I have R23 as well. And at this point I need to restart Cinema 4D. So now I need to save my project file, English Generative Design, and Loft Surfaces. I press the Enter key, and now I can close Cinema 4D, and I reopen it. And there is the option, the parallel extrusion, where you can extrude it to completely parallel. And that's why it's good stuff. Okay. It is booting. So I load it in, I load my file in, and I turn off the Extrude Generator, and I find my new Solidify plugin. Here it is, Solidify Generator. I put my loft into it, and let's see what we have here. Oh, it doesn't work on parametric objects. That really hurts. That's not good. I remember now why I didn't use it. Why is it not installed for me? Because it's useless if it doesn't work on parametric objects. So if I have to make it editable, it's no use. So that's it. The other way, of course, you can close this polygon, and we just introduce a and it's really important that you have to yes, okay, yeah, splines are aligned. If I turn on create caps, I have the result. But now I need to be very careful because of the mesh distortions. So after this I use the normal move. So that's the process how I give thickness to an object like this one. Okay, so there is a thickness. But of course, it's you want a totally solid thing. You always can just extrude and scale it to the right position. It should be not a problem. So this is the Loft Generator, and the Loft Generator is a really important surface creator. Without the Loft Generator, we would enable to create the most surfaces we would like to. The Loft Generator is a most important generator in architecture. So first of all, if I would like to create a structure, like for example there's a Hungarian plastic structure plastic structure creator company named Graboplan, and I would like to find some objects we can model with the use of the extrude modifier. Well, extrude, sorry, with the Loft Generator. Okay. So let's say try this one. So first of all, it is really important that your splines need to have the same point. So if you go with the rectangle, there are some the inbuilt splines have some attributes which gives you the opportunity to loft between them. So you can loft this. You see it's distorting a little bit, it's twisting a little bit, but it makes it. And surprisingly, it's relatively clear. You know, this is almost with polygons, with polygon-based softwares. It is almost an impossible mission. So I rotate this. I turn it off. And I introduce a bit more mesh subdivision. So with the inbuilt parametric splines, I'm able to do it. And it's really cool. I hit the magic center button. And now they drop to floor. And as you can see, it's segmented. It looks too few segments, so I need to add more segments to it. So it looks good. And all I have is 3 parametric splines. This is not what we want. We just want to have simple circles. I never use circles. I always use end sides, because with end sides I can manipulate the subdivision of the sphere, and I like it much more. So this is the first object and this is the second object, and I enable the loft. So as you can see, it's twisting again. So while I check the coordinates, it's 90 degree, it's rotated by 90 degree. Yeah, but this, not these dimension, not this axis. So I need to rotate it where is its own yeah, it's on the XY axis. It's really strange. I think it's because in a cloner object. So that's the first step. The second step, I duplicate it, and after this I make another copy just to make sure that this this length, or this this segment is completely, so the thickness is just constant. Yeah, great. It looks good now. And after this, I just play with the sides. So for example, if I make it 4 sides, I can this really clean stuff. If I increase these sides, I get this. If I increase it, I can get a clear, an almost totally clear surface. I love it. After this, I just reset my points, and then I want the axis to put it down. So I try to do this with the axis center, but as a parametric object, it just doesn't do it. But I think it should somehow. But anyway, I can move the tool by hand, and that's why I don't understand it. And if I enable the polygon snap, and the midpoint snap, I can snap it to the surface. 3.57. It's strange. But now I don't care because I only did this to make it using the cloner. I grab my cloner object with the MoGraph cloner and I put my loft in it. And after this, I just turn off the fixed clone. And I don't want to clone this way. I want grid cloning, grid array cloning. And I need to check how big this structure is. So I need to use a connect object, or I just turn off the so in the z-axis it's almost 1k centimeter, so 10 meter high. Let's say I make it 10 meters high, 10 meters tall. So if I type it in, it will get this. And let's say it's 5.7.5. Great. Now I turn on the cloner object like this. And per step, I need to define this value and this value to make him connect. Why we got an error here? No, not enough subdivision. Yeah. Okay. So this is it.
What's the difference between the cloner tool and the multi-instance tool? Because I've tried to use that, but
the multi-instance.
Yeah.
Here. The multi-instance is like proxy in it is for rendering. But the problem is if you use render instance or multi-instance and you make it editable, you will lose your structure. No, great. Great. It's a new thing. So they create a loft. So now, if you make a cloner editable, you don't lose the clones inside of it. Instead, it creates a multi-instance object like this, and that's cool. Let's see. But if you want to have it polygonized, like for example, let's say you want to put it into a subdivision surface, which I mostly do. You cannot set it to multi-instance. The multi-instance is good for memory usage when you have millions of objects, you know, or thousands of trees, or hundreds of millions of polygons, grass surface with real grass, not just texture. And if you set it to multi-instance and you set the viewport mode to, let's say, matrix, you only get these little dots. And if you render it, they will be there. You see? But you can move your viewport fast. So your viewport will not suffer because of the huge polygon number. There's box mode, but of course the render will be the same. And there is the object. But if I need to put it to a classic subdivision surface, I cannot use this because let's say I decrease the segmentations to 4. And if I want to put this cloner, you know, my loft is really high resolution, and I don't need this resolution currently. So let's say I go with 50 or 20, or let's say just 5. Yeah, it needs 8 here, and I don't need 115. Let's say I give it only 10. Or let's say I give it only 2. That's the absolute minimal. And after I put it into a subdivision surface object, I get this. But let me turn off the caps. And as you can see, it is not connected here. Why? Because we have to use the connect object, because the connect object has the option to, you know, to connect objects and optimize option. So if I grab my cloner and put it into a connect object like this, it will connect the overlapping point to one object. And this is wonderful. So I can have this. Okay. And now, if I copy this whole thing and I press C on the connect object, like this, I have full control of the whole geometry. And this is wonderful. Let's say I can close it. Yeah. This is a good point where I can show you the bounding loop selection and select boundary edges or select boundary loop. And if I just extrude it upward like this, I can close it with the close polygon hole command. But as you can see, it's an end-on. So you need to select it as a loop, and you need to weight it with the point button. You hold down the point button, you see, and you need to fix the fong shading. So this is it. And after this, I adjust this as well, this loop as well, and I make it a little bit thinner. This edge. This is just to make it look good. Make it good. Make it a little bit thinner. this is the good stuff. The Loft surface. I really love this tool. I really love the Loft surface tool. We can do anything with this. Let me show you a last thing. For example, I introduce a curve. I draw a curve with the spline pen. Okay? A curve like that in B-spline mode. I set it to 0 on the world axis. I set it to 1200 meters, and let's say to 0. I set it to 0, and let's say it's 2200. Good. And now I will create a surface. So I put in a loft. If I press the Alt, hold, and left click, it will be apparent automatically of the spline. I hold down the Control key, I copy my spline to make another spline, and I can start to create my surface, right? Hold down the Control key like this, and I go further. And now I get my second spline, and I make an adjustment on the surface. Let's say like this. I select these two and okay. And now I want to have a structure on it. And you know, we have the old honeycomb structure. So I just create a pattern, and inside I put it into a cloner, and I set honeycomb array. Great. And I put it into a extrude, and I set the extrude to hierarchical. Here. And I turn it off. Or I don't have to turn it off. And after this, and this will be the first deformer we use. This deformer will be the surface deformer. If I introduce the surface deformer and I make it a child of the group, like this, do not forget this hierarchy. And I set my lofted surface to the reference of the surface projection modifier, and I set it to UV mapping. I will be able to, sorry, I need to put it into a connect object. Yeah, I will be able you know what? I make it completely flat. And if I just set it to 1, 1, 1, I can populate the whole surface with my honeycomb structure. And the best thing, that is completely parametric. So I know if it's a good idea to turn it off, because it's non-planar edges will appear. Okay, but no problem this time. And I come here to my cloner and I set it to 30 by 30. So I get a much more dense mesh. And after this, I only need a I don't need this tessellation. I only need the edges of it. So I can use the Extrude Generator now. Extrude Generator. Put it into the generator. And turn the preserve groups off. That's it. No subdivision. And I create a new selection tag. And if I put this selection to this one, after I make it editable, I think I will have it. Yeah, there it is. So I can delete it. And there I have it. And let's say after I put it into a subdivision surface, it doesn't look that good. I give a little bit of thickness to it. Would create caps on, of course. That's a good looking structure, honeycomb structure here. But of course we can use any kind of structure we want, no problem. And we can even make transitions. You know, if we smooth a polygon, only a polygon, an extrude inner polygon, it will be smaller. So if I go back, I delete it, and I just make this editable without the Extrude Generator. So I make this current state to object. I turn off these generators because they use memory, and turn off the visibility like this, and I make a very tiny extrude inner with preserve groups off like this. And after this I hold down the control key and convert it to edges. And after I convert it to edges, I delete them. But now the edges already selected remain selected, you know. So I grab my smooth tool, brush, and smooth brush. With the hold down of the middle click, I can make it bigger, and I can paint transitions to the size. I can close them completely if I want. You know, it can based on some simulations where it needed, or and of course after this I need to optimize this whole thing. Yeah, there are tiny little holes here, and so I need to measure them. How big are they? And I say they are 1 centimeter. So if I select all, go to the optimize, I need to click on this gear icon, and I need to type 1 centimeter to the tolerance. It's not enough. 1 centimeter. Yeah. Good. So this way I won't have holes where I don't need them. By the way, of course, with the Wonk selection plugin, you have the option to select by polygon size. And by select polygon size, you can, I don't know, select a polygon smaller than these. So you can isolate them easily. But of course, it needs a supporting structure. It doesn't stand by its own. It needs a supporting structure. Oh, I lost my pattern. I lost my good pattern. Yeah? That's cool. Okay. Do you know that next week you have a project week and we will not meet? Did you know that?
Yes, we know.
Okay. So I need to adjust them. You know, I'm thinking on this because we can solve this issue, this honeycomb pattern issue on curved surface by subdivide them to quads. Because if I turn off my surface deformer, I can delete this extrude. Delete without children. And I make a polygon with the extrusion. Set it to 0 centimeters. I turn off my cloner. And I press C button. And I make quads like this, or I can connect them like this. Let's see if it gives us any better. Okay, so let's dissolve them because I don't like them. You know, sorry, not dissolve, just melt them. Let's connect them by this way. Yeah, it's much better. Great. If I extrude them inner, I make an extrude inner tool, but preserve groups on this time, and I delete it and select the inner surface, and I make it editable and turn off the generators. No, I don't have them. That's not good. You know, I wanted to have these selections. To be able to make transitions. Okay, so let's create a selection tag on it, and now let's make it current state object. I hide this, yeah, and that's good because I select the edges, I delete it, and I have this, and now it's completely fine. So it's a way, it's another way to solve this. There are many ways to solve this, to be honest. I'm just showing a few. Then there is the smooth, you know, there's the solidify effect or the cloth surface. I can give parametric thickness to it. If I give one subdivision and I put it into a subdivision surface, I will get a smoother result because it depends, the curvature depends on the subdivision. So if I increase the subdivision so much, I will get a really high mesh resolution, and I have a curvature. You know, I'm wondering that I could make it with a Bevel Deformer. Like, for example, I turn off the cloth surface for a second, and I introduce a bevel deformer, and I make it bevel the whole cloth surface. Yeah. Let's say with 5 centimeters. Yeah, it can work. With a higher subdivision. I turn them off, consuming memory, and I give 1 subdivisions, 2 subdivision. But yeah, the connect. I guess the cloth surface has too many polygons. I need to decrease the subdivision on the cloth surface. Yeah, it's too much polygon there. I need to turn it off. I need to bump it down a little bit. The bevel deformer is for, yeah, the 2 subdivision is too high. The bevel deformer is to soften the edges with beveling them. You can make chamfer and you can make bevel. Okay, I press 0. But it's really slow now because there are a huge amount of polygons. We cannot see now, but there are, because the bevel generator creates a huge amount, and the cloth surface generates also a huge amount, and the bevel generator generates a huge amount of polygons on the cloth surface. Yeah, and without subdivisions it works fine. So this is it, and it's faster than the, and we have less polygons than the other method. Why is it good for us? Because we can transfer it to ArchiCAD or software like that. If you want to transfer something from Cinema to ArchiCAD, you almost always have to make it you always have to make it polygonized, and it cannot be more than 50,000 polygons, I guess. ArchiCAD cannot utilize more than 50,000 polygons. So you need to be aware of it. So if I make it the current state to object, and I cut and paste it to a new object, I run a magic center and a PSR, reset PSR, to transfer it to the zero coordinates. Then I need to check that I have 41,000. Yeah, ArchiCAD doesn't like that. Neither Revit. It's really heavy. So in ArchiCAD we cannot use the smoothing bevel deformer. so I can't use it. I guess I can use the plot surface. This is bit 0, 0. I create current state to object, run the magic center, and click on the PSR button, and I make it, put it to the ground. You see how fast it is. You don't have to move it by hand. You just type it in and it's ready. And now I check the polygon count, which is 8,278. So if I send it to the ArchiCAD, I hope it will be able to handle this. Let's try it. Okay, so command manager, shift plus C, and I just type in to send to ArchiCAD. And it will open a copy of ArchiCAD, an ArchiCAD exchange file, and it will create it as a object. I don't know how to import it to other softwares. You have to figure it out for yourself, but it's in the I think for example, I'm not completely sure how you import it to Revit, but I guess it can import FBX or something like that, or 3ds file, or OBG. I know it has to. It must be able to import something, or IFC. So there it is. It's on the default layer, and I jump into the settings, and I set the symbolic view to projected view, so I will see the floor plan of it with the section lines, which is good, because if it's, let's say, a pavilion, or I know what is it, this under the shell, it will be, you know, really embarrassing to always turn it off and on and guess where the cut lines. And I know you can easily set it to, you see, it's drawn by red and the cut line drawn by black. But if I set it to the representation, but if I set it to 0.13 millimeters, and I set it to 35, yeah, this is what I want, and here it is. Let's create another level, and I need to set my new object to show it in every level. I don't know why it is not default. It has so not only the floor plan, but every every level, every level, it can't be seen. How big is this? Just a minute, please. I can find the yeah. So there is it. Well, if my model is really heavy, I create my section in Cinema 4D and I import it as a DXF to ArchiCAD. I just export as a DXF or Illustrator file. Illustrator file is vector based too, so you can use that as well. But when we load files into ArchiCAD, we need to take care about the polygon count, because ArchiCAD will not tolerate a huge polygon count. It just can't use them. You know, ArchiCAD is or the other softwares without concept design is it's like just an Excel, a Microsoft Excel of architecture. It's just a documenting software. It would be impossible to me to start designing a house with drawing walls like this. I know how can anyone make it, and you just put windows in and doors and things like that, and they just put a roof on it, and they say it's done. You know, I know it's not my style. Those who are working with this ArchiCAD design method, if you traveling around in Budapest, in the outer spaces, you can find so-called ArchiCAD buildings. Let me show you. Let me show you an ArchiCAD building. And this is it. ArchiCAD with Atlantis. ArchiCAD with Atlantis. ArchiCAD architecture. Disgusting. Disgusting because I can see the software on the building. It's not well designed. It's just ugly. And look at this one with the plastic windows and doors. I don't know, it's terrible. Never do this. Look at this. Disgusting. architect architecture, where not you design the house, but the architect. Some client come to me with Excel drawings. They open Microsoft Excel and they draw house plans on to the Microsoft Excel. So they do like this. This is a floor plan I get. Imagine it. Imagine you get a floor plan like that. You need to do this. It's crazy. This is the floor plan. Can you still hear me, or
Yes, we are hearing you.
Still here?
We are here.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm showing you, or I'm storying about?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any questions, by the way, with this topic? I would like to ask you to review this video and try to make a loft surface. Find the loft surface from an architect you like I don't know, Shigeru Ban or Zaha, or from someone who you like, and try to recreate a form, a loft with possibly loft generator. Okay, so you draw up your splines, you draw up your you generate your surfaces, and basically you're ready. And if you want, you can project a surface pattern onto it. If you want, it's not necessary. You know, it's not only honeycomb pattern you can project to a surface. You can project any kind of pattern. With the cloner, you can make any kind of pattern. Like, for example, I introduce a circle in the Z axis. I put it into a cloner, MoGraph cloner. Let's use my favorite honeycomb array, and let's say the circles are bigger, like this, and 20 by 20. And you project it to a surface, but I'm not creating now a new loft surface. I just put a Bezier surface. Where is the Bezier surface? Where is it? Here it is. Good. Ah, there it is. new version, they replace these things. So the Bezier surface is a really easy surface. It based on the B-spline interpolation, so it's as you can make soft surface easily with the B-spline, with the usage of B-splines. Okay, it's good enough to me. And I grab the cloner, I put it into a connect object as always, and I group it, and under the null object I put a surface deformer. Don't worry, we will investigate all the deformers, even the VFX, the visual effects deformers. I'll show you the visual effects deformers as well. So I just introduced the surface deformer. Where is it? Here. And I put the Bezier surface into it, and instead of projection I use the UV mapping, and I go for 1 by 1, and it's a little bit too distorted for my taste, so I increase the count width, count height to, let's say, 30. You know, because it's distorting, especially at the edges. It's beautiful. And after this, I don't delete it now. I don't delete the Bezier surface now. I just create. Oh, okay, sorry, I cannot delete it because it's used by the surface deformer here. Now I don't delete it. Yeah, if I would want to make a support structure, you know, it needs to be organic, so I can't make a superstructure like this. You know, I subdivide it and make it, and I triangulate it, and with the normal scale I set it. You know, I can't do this like this because I need to have these points here or here, because this structure is okay, but without the shadowing system. So let's say I want to extrude these splines, or sweep these splines. I even can sweep them. I just need to connect it. So I put it into a connect, and here I have to put a inside. Sorry, here. And I just change the radius. So, like this, I created a good pattern, distorted pattern. It looks good. I like it. Okay, so try to create something like this. And if you have any questions, you feel free to write me anytime. Okay.